Hey, welcome back. It's great to be reaching out to you. I'm excited about this week. This is week 13 of the course. A week's fly by at this time of year. I hope you're having a great November. Hope everything is going well for you. There's a lot of material this week, so we only have 2 weeks of content left in the course. This week and then next week, week 14. So the title of the week or the chapter is Competing Through the Marketing Mix. And a lot of times when we teach marketing, we focus on the 4 Ps, and we spend a lot of time on the functional aspects of doing the 4 Ps: pricing, promotion and advertising, distribution, which would be the place P, and then pricing, if I hadn't mentioned pricing, or product development, I guess. So again, the 4 Ps kind of deal with the functional doing of marketing. And honestly, we've touched on all of those at various times throughout the semester, but really we focused on the role of marketing in the firm and forming strategic competitive advantages, as you've heard me say over and over again, and probably less about the quote unquote doing of the functional work. So this week and next week, we talk a lot about 3 of the P's, at least this week. And there's a lot of material here. There's a lot that can be done. In fact, this chapter is devoted to pricing strategy, promotion and advertising, and then distribution. Those 3 things, and all 3 of those have entire courses dedicated to them that are semester long. So it's really hard to craft a great cohesive kind of message for the week when there's such a volume of information that we could cover. So what I try to do is I try to pull out some of the key concepts for each of these three kind of areas. And there's a number of little articles and some things like that. When we talk about pricing, one of the, I think, important things to start talking about is dynamic pricing. I mean, we'll review sort of cost-based and value-based pricing strategies, kind of how we arrive at a price using, again, value-based philosophies and cost. But what's really driving market now is the ability to be nimble and flexibly change your price depending on demand, and in particular demand by individual people. So dynamic pricing allows prices to shift and change very fluidly depending on the sales context and such. And that's really kind of where we are right now in terms of setting price strategy. Sometimes it's called surge pricing. It's one version of dynamic pricing. Auctions allow us to perform dynamic pricing and things like that. We talk about promotions and communications. Honestly, the material just kind of gives an overview of the different tools in the toolkit that you can use to build awareness and kind of explain what your product is and to reach the market with information. There's a communication model that's built into this, which again, it's kind of a standard thing we talk about in marketing. So that material is there. We do shift though into an area called value co-creation. And there's a couple really neat articles that deal with allowing the customer to create value in a service space. Game of Thrones did this in a lot of ways, and other companies do too, where in Game of Thrones they would put out a storyline and then they would observe social media input, and then to a great degree some of the storyline would be adapted to match or to reflect what people were posting in social media space. And so they adapted the product, in other words, to reflect what the customers wanted. So the customer actually, and the viewers actually played a role in creating the product that they were consuming. And that's called co-creation when that thing happens. In fact, co-creation is the theme of our reflection. for the week 10, or the 10th week 13, the 10th reflection of the semester, which by the way is the last reflection. We have 10 reflections or discussion boards, and this is the last of them. This is the 10th one, and it deals with allowing the customer to create the product, and relinquishing control to the customer to do so. So it's an interesting concept, but again, it's really kind of where we are in marketing and the role intersect in the role between the customer and the firm. The last area is distribution, and this deals with kind of two real big kind of pushes of content. One of which is the idea of channels, controlling the channel, and when I say channel, I mean how the product gets to the customer, and the different various ways the product gets to the customer. There'll be different channels. So omni-channel marketing is used in media, but it's also used in distribution, where you use multiple paths to the customer for your product. And importantly, the second part is that we rely heavily on relationships with other companies, other firms to do this. So Porter has a model called the value chain, and it captures this fairly well, where we as one company can't deliver all the value to the customer. We have to rely on other companies, and the relationships we have with them really drive the process. So relationship marketing largely refers to the relationship two companies have with each other and how they work together to bring value to a customer. And that's actually a really, really big concept that gets really kind of heavily pushed in the distribution space. And so that's an important thing to kind of talk about. Lowe's and Sherwin-Williams, that's an article where they've collaborated to form an exclusive channel. Again, through their relationship. And then the Apple's Broken Sapphire factory, it's a great example of controlling the supply chain, and the relationships that, like, one firm, Apple, has with another firm, which is tasked with producing sapphire, which is a raw material that Apple uses in their devices, and problems and troubles they have along the way. So it's an inter-firm relationship. Really, that's the focus of the article. So again, we can't cover everything in these areas because there's way too much. So I'm trying to pull out some key concepts that I think are really vital, that I think are helpful to know as a graduate student and as a kind of a person who's going to be leading organizations, sitting in the CMO spot or a C-suite position. These are concepts that are driving companies' decision making today in these particular areas. So I think it has value there. So again, a lot to unpack. There's a lot of material here. You're going to notice in Moodle lots of files, lots of videos, lots of material there. So go through those. Pull out the material that you think is valuable, and I think you'll really enjoy the material. I think this week there's a lot to it. So like any week, please let me know if you have any questions. Please let me know if there's any feedback I can help provide you. And I think this will be a great reflection this week. I'm looking forward to seeing what you all write for that, and go from there. So moving forward, also just the announcement, we have our final case due in a couple weeks. I'm actively grading the second case, so I know that's behind. You need feedback on that, and I'll make sure that's available to you before you tackle that case 3. And then we have kind of the wrap up of the course. We'll have our final project pieces to put together in a couple weeks, and then go from there. So let me know if you have any questions. Again, another exciting week. We're packing a lot of information in this week, so have fun with it. Yeah, take care.